Hey Taurus, this is Michael with your July 2020 reading. I do hope that this video finds you well, whether you're watching it for yourself or someone else with Taurus placements. I do apologize if my energy seems a little low or a little bit depleted. I actually lost a couple videos. I lost the one for Aries and I just re-recorded it. So if I seem a little irritable or kind of shut down, that's probably why. Although, you know, it's funny because the first reading I did for Aries was a really good reading. And I was really bummed to see it be corrupted. I actually tried uploading it, and it wasn't until it was almost fully processed on YouTube when I realized something was wrong with the file. And I was definitely disappointed because it was such a positive, awesome message. And it almost felt a little too good to be true. And I think the reading I just did for Aries felt much more grounded. And it felt like it was still a good reading, but it was the reading that people needed to hear. And so if you're feeling really set back this month, which a lot of people are, with all of the energy, with the Mercury retrograde that we're in until the 12th, we have Saturn returning into Capricorn while it's retrograde. We have a major Pluto-Jupiter conjunction that actually happened on June 30th, and finally an eclipse in Capricorn on the 5th. There's just a lot of weight right now in the energy, and it's all opposing the Cancer season that we're in, because it's in the opposite sign. And that can feel really draining. And I'm just telling you all of this, because you might feel really depleted at the first half of July here. And maybe even throughout the month. And it could feel like if you're making one step forward, it might feel like there's 2 steps back, depending on where you are in the world. And that's okay. Sometimes we just have to let go of control, or accept what we can control. I'm a fellow Earth sign. I'm totally big on the control thing. I get you, I get it. And I think for you, you like to have control over your space. And what we're seeing on the cards right now, we do see some shifts here. You have the 2 of Pentacles with this Daughter of Wands. So there is a lot of change in your life. There could be change in your home. There could be change in your job. Or you're thinking about these changes. I know a lot of people are currently unemployed, or waiting to go back to work, or maybe they're going to be unemployed again, waiting to go back to work again. And it's interesting because a lot of the astrology that we're dealing with this month is actually very similar to the astrology we were dealing with in March and the beginning of April. And in the US, we're seeing the pandemic surge. So we could potentially see some setbacks there. And that could just be making you feel like things are really unstable. And it doesn't even matter if that's affecting you personally or not. It might just be unsettling you because it's making you realize how uncertain everything is right now. But there's something beautiful here. There's this creative spark. It's you connecting to this almost inner child-like energy. And what brings you passion. And there's a lot of creativity with this Daughter of Wands, or the Page of Wands in the traditional tarot. And things are in flux. And that's actually how stability gets tested. With this 2 of Pentacles, it's this balancing act. This infinite movement, never really stopping, always changing. And a lot of the time we think we can only be stable if everything stays the same. But there's a difference between stability and having a foundation in yourself versus stagnancy. And having your sense of peace be conditional on the way that your world looks. And this isn't bad energy this month. You have the Three of Cups with the World. Your heart is opening to something new, and maybe to new people. And perhaps it's these new people who are opening you up to the world. And this makes a lot of sense because there is this big energy in your 9th house with all of these Capricorn placements, which is really expanding your worldview. You might be learning about different parts of the world. You might be reconnecting with different cultures. Or maybe from your origin culture. There's been a big emphasis with connecting to ancestry and dealing with ancestral trauma, especially when we're going through the Black Lives Matter movement. It's making us look at history. And on the collective level, what we're seeing so many people deal with is ancestral trauma and woundings, and that's coming to the surface very strongly right now. And maybe even some dysfunctional patterns that you've inherited from your ancestors, from your family of origin, or the family that raised you. But it's very beautiful. I feel like there's still this celebration here, even though things are changing, even though it might be a little wobbly, not necessarily the steadiness you're used to, it feels really good. And you have this Two of Cups, Taurus, so there could be some new love here for you, or a new relationship coming in, or just connecting with someone where there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of chemistry and compatibility. Not just chemistry, compatibility. And I feel like you could be just opening up to somebody, or someone's opening up to you. There's a lot of openness here, which is really, really nice to see. And that makes sense because with all of the Cancerian energy as well, this is your 3rd house. Or I'm sorry, no, that's your 2nd house, right? Jeez, it is your 3rd house. I'm sorry, Mercury retrograde is just, you know, we're kind of having a thing right now. It's a very intuitive time for me, but it can kind of just turn off my left brain. So forgive me if I'm making little errors like that. I will try to do my best. I also do have the astrology blog down below, so make sure to double check the dates I'm mentioning. If I'm mentioning dates with these aspects, I might be wrong. Anyway, I like this energy because I feel like there's just finding new love. And maybe that's just finding in love and what is. That was a big message for Aries that I just did. And something is being revealed. Someone's opening up. Maybe you're opening up. Talking through all these changes that are going on. And Taurus, you do have Uranus in your sign. Which is causing a lot of change. Uranus is the great awakener. And it's affecting all of us and our sense of stability as a collective, our economy, our possessions, and our values. And these things affect you in a very personal way. It's your 1st house, especially if you are a Taurus rising. Let's take a look at the animal wisdom for you for the first half of July, and then we'll move on to the second part of this month, and maybe even a little further out. We have 2 energies here, octopus and lion. When I saw this octopus, I immediately felt like trying to control a lot of things, spreading out these tentacles. That's really important for you to keep in mind, not only for yourself, but also in the people around you. You might need to be checking people's energy, and you might be the surprising person to do this. You might be a surprising source for this, but it's like reminding people, hey, focus on what you can control. And there's not a lot of things that are in our control right now. And as sort of an additional message, some of you might be dealing with this energy of someone trying to be controlling with other people, maybe even you, because they don't feel any control in their own life right now. Especially if this person is a fire sign, especially a Leo with this lion here. But you're feeling very perceptive too with this octopus energy. And it's really just important for you not to stretch yourself too thin. It's really important for you to also have good boundaries. Because I see this lion figure here. There's definitely a need for you to take some space for yourself, even though you are opening up and socializing a lot, making sure that the people you're connecting with are giving something back to you. And maybe you are actually supposed to be prying somebody open a little bit. I will say that, because you do have this Two of Cups. There is this revelation that's coming through for somebody, or someone opening up, exposing something here, coming forward. And I see these suction cups from the octopus. And there might be this part of you that's still trying to hold on to what was. And some of those things might not be serving you anymore. And releasing those attachments. Meditation is a really big thing for you. Again, with all of this 9th house activation, connecting with your spirituality is going to be really important for you for the first half of July. So let's look at the second half of the month now. Things should start to kind of clear up as Mercury is going direct. Although, the thing with Mercury direct station, that post-shadow phase, that's almost the catch-up phase a lot of the time. Because sometimes Mercury retrograde is so murky and under the radar that we're not seeing the miscommunications or misunderstandings. We're not prepared for things that end up being revealed when Mercury goes direct. We have the Ace of Swords and the Daughter of Cups. Yes, something is definitely being revealed to you in the first half of the month. God, I feel like I don't even need these cards sometimes. That is actually something that I've been wondering about. How would I do these readings without tarot cards? So if you have any suggestions, or if that's something that interests you at all, let me know in the comments down below. I think just with the tarot thing, it's kind of this niche audience. People know what to look for, or know to look for it. Would people just look for, like, a psychic reading? Let me know. But, you know, with this revelation, it does feel tied into your intuition with this Page of Cups and someone coming forward. And you have the Lovers here, too. Wow, there's a lot of love here for you this month. You could be hearing from somebody or having a communication with someone that you care about and really connecting to this person. Maybe you're moving in with a partner, some of you, or getting closer with a partner, or maybe there's more distance that's growing, but I think it's somehow bringing you closer. Or making you see each other in a different light. But it feels good. It feels like there's a lot of love here. And it's just important for you to remember your boundaries. And for them to remember theirs. And I do see this 5 of Wands, where there may be some conflict. There may be some people who have something to say, especially if you are finding something or someone that you love. Tell me a little more about this 5 of Wands. This seems like separate from this love connection. Or it could actually be that there is this conflict or this situation that feels like it could be a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing, and it actually helps bring you closer together. And, you know, with this need for distance and this need for space, this distance can bring you closer together. We did have a Venus retrograde last month, and that is catching up. It's still in the post-shadow phase in the start of July here. So you might be feeling like you're reconnecting with someone who you had some conflict there with. And right as we're talking about this, I have the 3 of Wands, which is something coming back. And it's opening up a portal here. Something is in your sights. Something that was set into motion a while ago. It feels actually like a love connection, but I also do see that there is this change that's happening in your daily life in the start of July. I wonder if some of you might actually be moving, and it's in this move that you meet somebody new. That could be a situation, but it feels like more than once it actually did come up that it could be someone from the past. And Mercury retrograde is notorious for bringing back people from the past. And we do have, we have a Cancer new moon. And that's the second new moon in Cancer this year. Usually there's only one new moon in each sign, but there's going to be one that gets it twice. And this year it's Cancer. And there's a lot of communication, a lot of movement here for you. And your words are especially powerful in your ability to manifest. So even if you're doing this in writing or speaking aloud, using language to manifest, especially around this new moon on the 20th, could be very, very powerful for you. And it's bringing a lot of healing. It might be bringing in some new people and potentially even a new lover. Or returning somebody. Returning an old lover. Returning a friend. It doesn't always have to be a romantic person, by the way. And I think a lot of people watch these readings kind of hoping to reconnect with people from the past, someone that they still have strong feelings for. And I don't ordinarily go in this direction. I actually kind of try to avoid it. But if it comes up in a reading, I do bring it up. Only because it feels a little predatory to me, to be honest. Because I feel like somebody might watch this and there's some wishful thinking that's going on. So practice your discernment here. I always tell people, use your own discernment when watching these readings. If this feels like your situation, then take it, but be discerning here. And it might not be the person you're thinking of or expecting. Usually in Mercury retrograde, it's like the person you're not thinking about. Could be a Gemini energy. Could be a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And I do see at the end of the month with this 5 of Wands and this 3 of Wands, something might be coming in, but it's being delayed because things are really disorganized right now. People might not be working together very well. There could be sort of this disarray, but it's still coming. At least for most of you, I feel like this opportunity is still coming. And your intuition is really going to be able to help you figure that out as this Page of Cups, or this Daughter of Cups. Let's pull one more animal card for you, Taurus, for the second half of July. Ooh, interesting. Black egg. This is a fun one. Comes up a lot in these readings, actually. So the black egg represents the throat chakra. I was talking about communication. This is definitely a month of communication for you. Even with Mercury in retrograde, you might need to have conversations a few times. You might feel like you're repeating yourself a lot. You might feel like you're not being heard, and maybe that's even what's precipitating you needing to take space, because it's like, this conversation just clearly can't happen in this moment. Maybe I need to kind of pull away and just, recollect myself, compose myself. Something about this situation is making me feel unheard. And working with this throat chakra, maybe you're the one holding back. And again, I know a lot of people come into these readings and they would swear up and down that it's the other person who's not being open. But relationships are often a mirror. How are you not expressing yourself to this person? Are you waiting for them to make the first move? Are you waiting for them to say something to you first? You might need to be the one to communicate. You might need to be the one to really address something here. And I was kind of talking about that with that octopus energy. You might need to kind of pry something open a little bit. And that person might push back at first. But I think if that happens, they end up coming around anyway. But they needed a little budge. And don't expect that conversation to go perfectly the first time. Don't expect the conversation to go the way you want it to right away. Something does need to be said here, but I actually think that it brings you closer together. This conflict, this distance, whatever it is, it's bringing you together. And it's bringing you closer to yourselves as well, your own truth. The throat chakra isn't just communication, it's also our truth of who we are. And that does change. Maybe there's been a change there for you. But you're coming into that again. And I'm seeing by the end of the month, even though there's a bit of rockiness here in the communication department, the love is still there with the lovers. I'm just saying, Taurus, okay? Those are all the messages I have for you this month. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what situation this is coming up in for you, what kind of relationship. Let me know what was helpful. And I'm always curious to hear your thoughts, even if I can't reply to every single person. I do have all of my links in the description box down below for personal readings and Reiki sessions. And if you're interested in watching some of the other videos, if this one just didn't resonate as strongly or you want a little more clarity, you're welcome to look at your moon, rising, or Venus signs. And if you don't know what those are, there is the natal chart calculator in the description box down below, as well as the astrology blog, which I think is going to be super helpful for you. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Taurus.